You have found what lights you up. I'm your host, Sunny the Life Coach, and I'm here because I see you searching for something or someone out there to help you feel better. Something to take away the pain that you're feeling, the inadequacies. I know all of the things that happen in life can leave you feeling empty. Your search is over. This podcast is all about finding your own freedom and power to love yourself enough to shine in the ways you were always meant to, the ways in which you are already fully capable of. If you're ready for some real talk, some serious truth bombs, and a few F-bombs, you are in the right place. Let's do this. Let's get lit. Hey there and welcome. How are you today or tonight, whenever or wherever you are? Seriously, how are you? Take a moment to check in. Really notice. Tune into your body and notice what you feel. I swear I am on a mission to reconnect with my body and not allow my mind to lead all of the time. I have this incessant brain chatter. I don't know if you do. You listening right now, do you have that chatter in your brain that is constantly saying, do this, do that, do that, oh, don't forget that. Remember that? Don't forget that. And do this, do that. Constant chatter. It can be exhausting, honestly. You have to throttle that chatter sometimes. That's not the inner voice of wisdom that I talk about. That chatter is driven by ego and all of the conditioning over your lifetime. Recognize that, okay? I am honestly just trying to keep up this week. For some reason, we had our spring break last week, and we took a road trip from Dallas to Las Vegas. Whew, that was a whole experience. And I want to use parts of that to kick off today's topic. I was really immersed in my vacation with my husband and son. I mean, noticing all of the things, really trying to tune into my senses instead of just riding along in the passenger seat, sleeping, or scrolling social media. In fact, I really didn't spend a lot of time at all on social or sleeping for that matter. I couldn't have if I wanted to. About half of the time, if not more, we were in pockets of dead zone in terms of cell signal. Definitely don't want to break down on those back Arizona roads. Y'all, have you ever driven those back Arizona roads at night? Yes, King and I have. We once drove from Las Vegas to Grand Canyon area, I think, and it was at blackest night I have ever seen in my life. And one of the topics that came to me during our travels was the idea of growing out of something or outgrowing something or someone. Whatever way you want to phrase it, we're talking about the growth aspect of change, which is something that I don't know that I have addressed yet. I talk about change often. Change is inevitable. The only constant is change. Yeah, we get that, right? We get that the world around us is going to shift and change, and we get to either adjust along with it or fight it tooth and nail to the point of exhaustion, only to end up defeated because shit is never going to be like it was ever again. We get that. What I haven't talked about is the personal growth aspect of change, when the shifts are entirely internal. Nothing has changed in the world around you. Instead, you have changed. And that has definitely happened for me in Las Vegas. Well, my husband King shares this sentiment as well. The boy too. It's just meh. Now, when you tell people you're going to Vegas for spring break, they will light right up. They do. You all should see your faces. Vegas? Oh, all starry-eyed. And I get that. That's exactly how I felt about it my first time there. A Vegas virgin, if you will. My husband and I went for fun way back in the day. Hell, I don't even think we were married yet, and we just celebrated 20 years. That's how long I've been going to Vegas. That very first time, nothing like it. Priceless. Even better than I had imagined. And if you've never been to Vegas, the best thing to do is to fly in at night. I'm telling you. Yes, you will miss the Grand Canyon flyover, but seeing those lights just pop up in the middle of the desert is such a wild and wonderful thing. And, the city never sleeps. So there will be plenty of action for you if you arrive at 3 a.m. Not a problem. Slot machines will greet you the moment you step off the plane. Everything is colorful and lively, lots of sights and interesting humans to behold. And it's a dry heat. I know some of you all don't share my sentiment, but I swear I love the dry desert heat. It's that sticky humidity that we get here in the South that wears on me. It wears on me and my hair. Give me all of the dry heat. I think I was made for it. Anyway, we stayed at the Flamingo right on the Strip, and we partied our asses off, and we got all of the comps and won just enough money on the slot machines to break even. And even put some money in the bank when we returned from that first trip. It really was such an experience. Yeah, we put money in the bank. We were actually burning through our last $5 that we had set aside to play with, and we hit a jackpot of around $2,000. So we were literally walking out of the hotel and headed to the airport. It was a nice treat, icing on the cake, worth going back again for, right? Yeah, that's how they get you. Because over 20 years later, we have never won that much money again. And I can assure you, we have spent that much over and over and over. To be fair, we haven't really even played the past several years that we've been in Vegas, not played in the casinos at all. You see, about 9 or 10 years ago, King's parents retired to Vegas. So when I tell you that I'm making a trip to Vegas, I mean I'm going to visit family. That's not what anyone envisions. Totally different experience, right? I think the last time we were even on the Strip for any amount of time, like overnight, was about 9 or 10 years ago. In fact, it might have been our first visit to the parents' new home. And our niece was also there at the time. I think she was in her late teens, early 20s. And she offered to babysit Connor, who was 4. Oh, 4. So my husband and I could spend the night on the Strip. And you all, here's what happened. It was ridiculous. We gave ourselves $100 to play with. We did not get up from the bar. We didn't make it out of the bar. We paid full price for our drinks. We got grilled about how much money we were putting into the video poker machines. Apparently there was a minimum of $10. That was new. And we burned through 100 in about 30 minutes. And we looked at each other and we're like, well, peace out. We got ourselves a bottle of liquor at the drugstore that was way overpriced. Went back to the room, ordered a pizza, and we went to bed early. Totally different experience. Now, what changed about Vegas in those 20 years? Sure, hotels have come and gone. The scenery has changed. Prices are higher. Comps are lower. Okay, fine. But overall, Vegas is still Vegas. I will still get a starry-eyed reaction from someone when I say I'm going to Vegas. Oh, Vegas. And I'm not going to have that reaction ever again. Vegas to me is just meh. And we didn't even get near the Strip or Fremont Street, which I honestly prefer over the Strip. We didn't get near either of those places this trip. We simply had zero desire. Even the boy, he used to love to frolic around Fremont Street and pose for pictures with all the superheroes and movie characters. Cool. Done it several times. All good. The only thing left to do is zip line over that bad boy. And maybe we will one of these days. It's just not a destination anymore. That the Fremont Street isn't. And I realized I've outgrown the wonderment of Las Vegas, my friends. I've grown out of it. In the way that I used to outgrow my clothing and shoes at a rapid clip when I was a child, I'm over it. And I could attribute this to my age, but I won't, because there are plenty of folks out there older than I am who can still get excited about a trip to Las Vegas. I know you're out there. I now have a teenager who couldn't care less because he's already been a time or two. He's been there, done that. Next. He didn't even flinch when he said we weren't going to Fremont Street this time. He was just, cool, sounds good. Wish we could zip line, but okay. Listen, Las Vegas is a magical playground where none of the rules apply and there are no clocks to be found. That is true. It can be a bit disorienting, but you don't need to know what time it is unless you are booked for a show. We've done shows too. Oh, the shows are amazing. We went to a Michael Jackson experience when Connor was young. Pretty sure it was the same year. I was just talking about that. The parents had our overnight away from him when we realized it wasn't all that enjoyable for us. But Connor has had the front row seats and the experience of dancing in the aisles with cast members and cutting it up and having the time of his life that he'll never forget. Yet, even he may be outgrowing it because he didn't flinch when we said no shows, no Fremont experience, no strip, just fam. That's what it's going to be. Now, I want you to think about something, or maybe even someone that you have outgrown. Like an old pair of shoes when you were 11 years old. Or maybe you outgrew those shoes before they were even that well worn, because that's what 11-year-olds do. It's change. But as I said, it's not the change that we often talk about, or at least I haven't talked about it that much here. It's the internal change, that shift. Now, that often happens in response to the world around us. At least I hope that happens for the majority of us, that we shift and adjust and ride the waves of discomfort until we finally land and ground ourselves again in our new environment. I'm talking about simply acknowledging where we are now, who we have grown into, without force or without challenging it to be the same experience that it used to be, but just embracing it. This is who I am now. I'm talking about loving that girl who had a blast the very first time she ever visited Las Vegas, and probably a half dozen times again after that, and not even mourning the loss of that wonder and light in a particular scenario. I have held that wonder and light. I have embraced it fully. And when it no longer appears, I am willing to let it go. And this is not about, well, I need to be tuned in and turned on or it's not worth my time. No, this is about truly checking in with yourself, your instinct and intuition. Making an inquiry, inquiring within as to whether or not this place, this environment, or these people are lighting you the fuck up. Now, you could say that being lit up is the same as being turned on or tuned in. Maybe it is. Hopefully it is. The reason I'm saying that it's not about that is that I wasn't seeking the destination as being the conduit for me. That's the difference. That's the magic. The magic is within me. I can take that wherever I go, even if it is to the corner store. That is really settling into the greatness inside of you. So You see, it isn't about the places you go or the people that are a part of your life as much as it is about your own experience of them. And sometimes that experience morphs into something different than it used to be. With Vegas, it was simply an observation of mine. Yes, I was very tuned in to my perceptions on this visit. It has been a minute. We haven't been to Vegas since 2019. We haven't done air travel since 2019. I miss it, but I know we will do it again soon enough. It was an observation in this particular example, but I want to acknowledge that there are times when it is painful to let go of the things that were, the way things were, either with a place that you have experienced, a thing that you used to love, or another human being. Sometimes there is a grief process to be aware of and to allow yourself to feel the void of no longer having that person, place, or thing. Really get curious about why you no longer feel connected. Now, with other humans, that can get very complex. So we're going to talk about this some more in another episode. I honestly do not have it in me today to dig into the dirty details and the complexities of relationships. I will save that for a deep dive in the very near future, so stay with me. For now, I just want you to recognize the things, the people, the places, and the things that you have outgrown, like you used to outgrow your clothing and shoes when you were a child. It happened very rapidly. You changed. You rode those waves, probably waves of hormones too, by the way, and you moved on. The point is, we are constantly changing and evolving, even if it is only in small, subtle ways. When King said that we were going to take a road trip to Vegas, I was like, cool. When he said we're not going to go to any of those places we always go, I thought, even better. Sounds like a plan. I'm over it. And I think Rumi explains it best with this quote. If the light is in your heart, you will find your way home. Home is within. It is with your people. And it can also be without your people. It is found in your favorite places, and those places can remain the same while you yourself change. It can be found in a building like a house, and when that house is not a safe space to be, it can be found in your own body. I know that is the hardest thing to comprehend for many of us, finding safety in our own bodies. But I promise, if you stick with me, we're going to find it. Because as you know, I am on a journey myself. I am making great strides, especially these days. I'm really digging in. I am all in, immersed in this. It would be my highest honor to walk beside you on your own journey. Send me an email at sunnythelifecoach@gmail.com and let's set up a time to talk through the vision of your journey. I am here to help you with all of the changes, large, small, everything in between. Thank you again for joining today. I love you. Light up, shine on.